Have you ever considered how a single raindrop might change your life? Picture this, a single raindrop, innocent and pure, falling gently from the heavens. But when this raindrop is joined by millions of its kin, the scene changes dramatically. This is the story unfolding in Tanzania and Kenya, where heavy monsoon rains have transformed tranquil landscapes into scenes of devastation. The El Niño climate pattern, a complex series of climatic changes affecting the equatorial Pacific region, has added fuel to the fire. What should have been life-giving rains have turned into torrents of destruction. The result? Massive flooding that has washed away homes, infrastructure, and tragically, hundreds of lives. Over in Tanzania, the floods have claimed the lives of 155 individuals and affected an astonishing 200,000 others. The damage to infrastructure is significant, with countless households displaced, their lives upended in an instant. Meanwhile, in Kenya, the situation is no less dire. 70 lives have been swallowed by the floodwaters, with ongoing rescue efforts battling against the relentless onslaught of the rains. The city of Nairobi, a bustling urban metropolis, now finds itself at the mercy of nature's wrath. These are not just numbers, but lives irrevocably altered by the power of nature. Each raindrop, each flood, each life lost is a stark reminder of the force of our environment and the delicate balance that exists between humanity and the natural world. In a blink of an eye, life as we know it can be washed away. But what does this tragedy mean in human terms? When the skies darken and the rains pour down, it's not just water that floods the streets of Nairobi, Kenya. It's devastation. It's displacement. It's the upheaval of lives. Imagine being forced to leave your home in a blink, clutching only what you can carry, and watch as everything else you've built and cherished is swallowed by the waters. That's the reality for over 200,000 people in Tanzania alone. But the waters don't just take away homes. They erode the very arteries of the cities, the infrastructure we often take for granted. Roads crumble, bridges collapse, and power lines falter, turning once bustling cities into disconnected islands of despair. Amidst this chaos, the human spirit endures. Rescue efforts are ongoing, with brave men and women navigating treacherous waters to bring relief to those stranded. Yet every rescue is a stark reminder of the lives lost. Over 225 people in Tanzania and Kenya combined have perished in these floods. Now let's take a moment to hear from the experts. Climate scientists have been warning us for years about the amplified impact of climate patterns like El Niño. The heavy rainfall isn't just an act of nature, it's a symptom of a larger, more worrying trend. To underscore the gravity of the situation, let's consider this. If a flood can displace hundreds of thousands and take hundreds of lives in a matter of days, what could a year of unpredictable weather patterns do? What could a decade? So it's not just about the immediate human cost, the lives lost, the homes destroyed. It's also about the future we're barreling towards if we don't take action now. The floodwaters may recede, but the scars they leave behind are all too real. Could these floods be a sign of a larger global issue? This question looms large as we try to comprehend the devastating impact of the recent floods in Kenya. The answer, according to climate scientists, is an emphatic yes. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, or IPCC, has been warning us for years that climate change is not only real, but is also accelerating at an alarming rate. The frequency and intensity of extreme weather events like floods, droughts, and hurricanes have been increasing globally, and they're projected to continue to do so as our planet warms. In fact, there's a term for this: climate variability. It's a phenomenon where changes in the Earth's climate cause alterations in weather patterns, leading to unexpected and extreme weather events. The El Niño climate pattern, for instance, which has exacerbated the flooding in Kenya and Tanzania, is a classic example of this variability. Now, let's put some perspective on this. The World Weather Attribution Initiative, a group of international scientists dedicated to analyzing the potential influences of climate change on extreme weather events, has found that human-induced global warming has made such events more likely and more severe. According to their research, the likelihood of extreme rainfall events has increased by as much as twofold in some parts of the world. So while the floods in Kenya are devastating and demand our immediate attention, it's crucial to remember that they're part of a much larger global narrative. They're a stark reminder that climate change is not a distant, abstract concept, but a reality that's unfolding before our very eyes. It's a reality that's impacting communities across the globe, from the flood-ravaged towns of Kenya to the wildfire-stricken regions of Australia, from the drought-plagued farmers in India to the hurricane-hit coasts of the United States. The floods are not just a Kenyan crisis, but a global warning. A warning that our planet is in distress, and it's high time we took notice. In the face of such devastation, what can we do? In the aftermath of the flooding, a myriad of relief efforts are unfolding across both Kenya and Tanzania. International aid organizations, local government bodies, and everyday heroes are all stepping up to lend a hand. It's a testament to the resilience and spirit of humanity in the face of adversity. In Kenya, rescue missions are underway, with teams working tirelessly to reach those trapped by the floodwaters. Organizations like the Red Cross are at the forefront, providing immediate relief to those affected. They supply food, clean water, and medical aid, working round the clock to alleviate the suffering where they can. But it's not just these big organizations that are making a difference. Local government bodies are coordinating efforts too. They're ensuring that displaced households get temporary shelter, helping rebuild infrastructure, and strategizing on how to mitigate the effects of future flooding. And then there are the everyday heroes, ordinary people who, despite facing their own losses, are stepping up to help their neighbors. They're volunteering at relief centers, donating what they can, and offering emotional support to those who've lost everything. These are the people who prove that even in the darkest hours, the human spirit shines brightest. And beyond immediate relief, there's a need for long-term strategies too. Climate scientists and experts are working with governments to understand the role of the El Niño climate pattern in exacerbating these floods. The goal is to develop systems that can predict such disasters and prepare for them in advance, minimizing the impact on human lives and infrastructure. This is the response to the floods. A response that encompasses not just aid, but also research, prevention, and community spirit. It's a testament to the fact that when disaster strikes, humanity steps up. We come together in the face of adversity, we help each other, and we find ways to move forward. In the midst of disaster, hope persists. But is hope enough to rebuild a shattered life? It's a question that leaves us pondering, isn't it? Hope is powerful indeed, but in times of crises, actions often speak louder. You see, in the face of such devastating events like the floods in Nairobi, Kenya, we all have roles to play, roles that can make a difference. Roles that can help rebuild lives, brick by brick, hope by hope. But what can we do? Where can we start? Well, every journey begins with a single step. And in this case, that step could be as simple as donating to relief efforts. Your contributions, no matter how small, can provide immediate life-saving aid to those who need it most. It can help provide food, clean water, shelter, and medical aid to the hundreds of thousands affected by this calamity. But maybe you're thinking, I don't have much to give, and that's okay, because another powerful way you can help is by spreading awareness about the situation. By sharing the stories of those affected, by talking about the impact of these floods, you're helping to keep this crisis in the global spotlight. You're ensuring that the world doesn't forget about Nairobi, that the world doesn't forget about the people who are fighting to rebuild their lives amidst the devastation. And who knows? Your voice might just inspire others to take action. Your voice might just be the catalyst that encourages someone else to donate, to volunteer, to advocate, because in the end, we're all in this together. We're all part of this shared earth, this shared home. And when one part of our home suffers, we all do. So let's not just stand by. Let's not just watch as the waters rise and lives are swept away. Let's rise too. Let's rise in solidarity, in compassion, in action. Because we have the power to make a difference. We have the power to turn the tide. The rain may have caused this crisis, but together we can be the rainbow that follows.